everyone, I'm Charlie Dawn and welcome to my library. Today's video is all about my top 5 audiobooks ever. I really like audiobooks, and not just because they're easy to sort of consume, because I like to be doing 2 things at once. The radiators are back at it. Not now, not now. I think from an acting point of view, just the voice acting itself is really entertaining for me, especially if there's a big cast of characters. I love a big cast. Some of my the top 5, you'll notice that. I hate the idea that people think that audiobooks aren't real reading. Of course it's real reading. You're literally taking in a book. If I listen to a book and you read a book, we have done the same thing. We could talk about it together. I think bashing on audiobooks as well, you gotta remember, not everybody has the ability to read, not everybody has the ability to see words on a page, not everybody enjoys to read words on a page. It can be quite difficult for people to read sometimes. Think of it that way, not everybody is the same as you. The number 5 spot on my list goes to The Diviners by Libba Bray. That was my attempt at doing a creepy song. It's very creepy. I didn't finish the series, but only because you should get around to something. But The Diviners is a really creepy paranormal book set in the sort of 1920s New York. The atmosphere it's alive. The characters all have very distinct voices. I think it is just one person narrating it, but their voice, their characterisation in the voice is amazing. The Diviners gets my number 5 spot because the atmosphere. Oh, and there's a bit of singing in it because there's this thing that happens. Won't give anything away. There's a song, and that song haunts my dreams. I imagine reading it on a page, you'd kind of maybe think of a little tune to go with it, but they actually they've written the song. It's not a 3-minute song. It's just a little nursery rhyme sort of song. But as soon as you'd hear it, I'd be on the bus and I'd be like, Number 4, we've got the Scythe series. Now I just say go for the whole series here because the whole series is great. The Scythe series is about a futuristic, almost utopia. It's not a dystopian, it's a utopian world. AI has developed, so artificial intelligence has developed consciousness. It's almost like Alexa has become the worldwide parent of the world. And she's just fixed everybody's problems. So I'm just gonna say now that it's not Alexa, it's called the Thunderhead, and nobody is homeless unless they want to be. If you choose to be homeless, then if that makes you happy, that's fine. But everybody has a job if you want a job. Everybody has enough money. You can turn back the clock and make yourself young again. They've eradicated disease. Everything's it's amazing. But because of that, nobody was dying. So they had to come up with a way to, population control and all that. So there's these people called Scythes. Scythes kill people. The story follows Scythe Faraday. So every Scythe names himself after a famous person in history. So it could be a doctor or so there's Scythe Martin Luther King, Scythe Marie Curie, Scythe Elvis Presley. Each Scythe has an apprentice Scythe, and you're sort of chosen to be a Scythe because I think you can ask to be a Scythe, but for the most part you're chosen because of your characteristics. And if you want to be a Scythe, it's a bit suspect, you want to kill people. Whereas if you're chosen, it's it's a very sacred job. You get to hear from the Thunderhead itself speaks, and it's got this really cool voice. The whole world is really interesting, and you hear from all different kinds of people. So Scythe is at number 4. Switching it up a bit, number 3 is hilarious, and you have to listen to it just for the fact that the voice actor is so funny. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but the voice actor is the same guy who played Tom Riddle in Harry Potter. Tom Riddle. The guy that was Voldemort. I'm pretty sure it's him. I think I googled it and it's him. If it wasn't you, sorry. This one is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. There's also another one called The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. That was also quite good, but it didn't quite make the list, unfortunately. So The Gentleman's Guide, it's about this guy called... what's his name? a guy called Monty and his best mate Percy and his little sister. They're going off on a trip around Europe and it's just hilarious. I was on a train and I was like absolutely wetting myself and I snorted in the carriage and everyone turned to me because seemingly I was just on my own and I would just have my headphones in and I was like I won't put that in. It's like a Victorian tale of hilarious romance but not really romance, and just things go wrong the whole way through and you're like. The second one on the list is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I don't know what it is about the audiobook that gripped me so much, but I was gripped from start to finish. I don't know if I would have been so much if I just read it. Probably, I mean, it's so popular. Just because it's her like oral history, I think you should listen to it because it's like it's like you're just sitting there and she's saying like, oh, and then in 1965 I did this, and I'm like, wow. It's like you're sitting with a family member and they're telling you their family history and you're like absolutely engrossed. It's like that. And the number one on my list, and it will never change, ever, I think, obviously I don't know. Another Taylor Jenkins Reid's gem, Daisy Jones and the Six. I've listened to it a lot of times. I've listened to it at least twice, which for me, I don't know if I've listened to an audiobook twice apart from that one and Evelyn Hugo. The reason it's so amazing is because it has a full cast. Full, like, I don't even know how many people are in this. Daisy, well, okay, this makes it easy. Daisy Jones and the Six, so at least, sorry. There's at least 7 people, and there's more because there's like friends of Daisy's and reporters, magazines. I just love it, and because it's written in a interview style, it's all dialogue. So there's none of that, like, you know, sometimes in books it's like, and the sun beat down on a warm rainy afternoon. I don't know what book that was from, but there's none of that. It's just dialogue, which makes it more like a play for me, which I love. There'd be bits where, and I know this would be the same in the book, but it would be like the interviewer has asked them a question, like, I won't give anything away, so I'll make it something random, like, okay, what did you have for breakfast that morning? And like Daisy would be like, I didn't even have breakfast that morning, I just woke up so late. And then another male character would be like, Daisy ate all the muffins for breakfast, I was so pissed. And then I'm like, oh, so what was the truth? And obviously the muffins thing is just like not real, but the switch between the voices all the time was so good. They tell you a whole story and then it would kick into like somebody else and they tell you the same story in a different way and you'd be like, ooh. And sometimes you can tell when they're lying because they're like speaking it. I urge everybody to read this book. It's so good. It's so good. I personally use Audible, but there are other ones. I don't know what they are, but I know there are other ones. I really think people should try audiobooks more. I feel like once you've done it, you're like, how did I ever not? Oh, the ice cream man's here. I never get one. It's really sad. Those were my top 5 audiobooks of all time. I hope you read them because they're so good. Like, you've got comedy, you've got dystopian, utopian, you've got historical fiction, and you've got like drama. You've got everything. You've got everything. Thank you for watching my top 5 audiobooks ever video. I hope you'll join me next time in my library. Today is the 5, that's 10,